Hello my loves. Today's video is just a super real heart-to-heart about something that's been on my mind for quite a while, and it's something that I've been growing through, as I like to say. I will just preface this by saying that I personally think that there are times in our life when just being solo and spending the majority of our time alone is completely okay. And I think that those are the times of massive growth. Those are the times when we are just really figuring things out. We're doing the inner work, we're journaling, we're healing, and we're really figuring out how we can up-level and upgrade and just grow. And so, personally speaking, I've been someone who, when I was younger, I classified myself as an extrovert. I was like, oh my God, I love being around people, I'm quite social. But as I got older, I realized, am I really an extrovert, or was it just kind of the norm? Was it just something that was placed upon me and expected of me, especially as a young woman? When you're in school and college, you have pressure to fit in. You have pressure to hang out with everyone, to do things as a group, to, always be surrounded by other people. And I think that there's beauty in that. But unfortunately, I think that there's also harm in that. And especially depending on who you are surrounded by. And so there were years of my life when I was surrounded by people, but looking back now, I'm like, were those people actually serving my growth? Were they serving my highest potential? Were they serving my capabilities? Were they actually helping me to grow in any area of my life? And I could say the same about myself. Don't get me wrong. Like, I think in any dynamic, there's a two-way street. I always tell you guys that when it comes to exes, if we classify an ex as being toxic, there was a certain level of us that was toxic too, or we wouldn't have been in that relationship. We wouldn't have been contributing to that dynamic if we truly weren't toxic, right? So a coin always has two sides, and a story always has two sides. So looking back at my past, there were times in my life when, to be honest, I don't think I was really contributing to my friend group. Probably this was in high school and college. It was all about having fun. It was all about doing what everyone else was doing. It was all about being cool. But I will say that after graduation is when I truly funneled all of that energy that I had previously been putting in other people, in relationships, in so many things. I put all that energy into myself, and I kind of went MIA in a sense. Like, I stopped talking to the majority of the people that I previously was, and then it came a point where I was like, oh my God, being by myself brings me so much peace, brings me so much joy, brings me so much fulfillment, that in order to actually want to hang out with someone else or to be with someone else, their energy needs to match mine or exceed it. Like, they need to contribute something to my frequency, or I don't even want to be around them, right? Because I already know that being alone was already serving my highest good. So it's like, you're either going to be at my level or above for me to even want to be around you. And this was one of those things where I knew this was the new path I had to take, was just saying no and focusing on myself and really only saying yes to the people and to the situations and to those friendships that were really going to elevate me. And for some reason, I continued hanging out with people even though it wasn't serving me, it wasn't helping me grow, it wasn't bringing me the fulfillment that I was already getting alone. And so I think it was last year when I really came to this crossroads, and I was like, you know what? Enough is enough. I'm going to stop saying yes to people, to hangouts, to anything that isn't aligned. And I've told you guys this so many times, like, if something isn't a hell yes, then it is a hell no. And it's easy to say that and it's easy to preach that, but when it actually comes to us, then we start getting in our head like, oh, but I've known this person. Oh, but this person was with me since childhood, but and you start kind of going back and forth. And I'm like, no. I am listening to the voice of God, and the voice of God is always that which doesn't hesitate, which isn't confused, which isn't going back and forth, which isn't saying, oh, but if, it just is. And so I started tuning into that, and I also started to really analyze how people were treating me. Like, even those little micro expressions that people make when you share news with them, or the way that they respond to you when you tell them about something good that has happened in your life. And unfortunately, I found that the majority of the people in my life were not rooting for me. Even if they were outwardly rooting for me, I could tell in those micro expressions, in those micro, in those micro comments they would make, that they really weren't. And of course it does hurt, because I am the type of friend who, oh my God, like, if you saw how I am with my friends, like, I uplift them, I empower them. If something great is going on in their life, I'm cheering them on. I'm sending them a message of support. If they have a big day, I'm encouraging them. I'm, reaching out and just letting them know that I love them, that I'm thinking about them, that, I have their back. And even if things aren't going right, I'm there for them to give them that strength, to give them that confidence that there's going to be a better and brighter day. And I do that for everyone just naturally, because I'm loving, I'm loyal, and I really want those that I love to succeed and to be happy. And so I'm that type of friend who, like, I will tell you something that I notice, even if it's not in my best interest to do so. Like, for example, I was out with one of my really good friends last weekend, and she was telling me something that, it was troubling hearing, and I just had to give her advice. Even if she would think that I'm the bad guy, or even if she would think that, oh my God, that was a little bit harsh what she said, I knew she had to hear it. And that's the type of friend I am, is I will give it to you straight. Like, even if your other friends will sugarcoat it and be like, oh, it's fine, don't worry about it. No, I will tell you the truth, because I want to see you win. And there aren't many people in this world nowadays who will tell you the thing that you need to hear, that everyone else is worried to actually tell you. So, long story short, I started realizing that so many people in my life just were not reciprocating the energy that I was giving them. I would congratulate them for their, for their milestones, for their big days. I would send them so much love and gifts and whatever for their birthday, and I noticed that when it was my day, when it was my special moment, when it was my big event, I wasn't receiving that energy from the majority of the people in my life, even if I had known these people for like 10 plus years. And so I started just realizing that, I am now going to distance myself, and I'm going to funnel that energy into myself, which I have been doing, but I'm going to funnel that energy into the women and the friends that give me that energy. Okay, so it doesn't matter if I've known these women for 10 years, it doesn't matter if they went to my high school, it doesn't matter, blah, 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 if we were neighbors. If they are not giving me that energy today, this year, then they've got to go. And I'm not saying I'm cutting them out completely, but I'm going to distance myself from them, and I'm going to replace them with people who are doing that now. And so I really want to encourage you guys to focus on yourself. It's easy to get swayed by this generation who thinks hanging out with someone every night and partying every day is going to bring you so much accolades and popularity. But let me tell you, when you are down and out, when you are going through something tough, watch who shows up, and I'm promising you that it will probably be less than 10% of the people that you hang out with. And I've been there. You know, like a few years ago, I went through a really hard time, and let me tell you, the only people that were there for me was my husband and my mother. Okay, like I'm not even exaggerating. So the truth is, a lot of people want to hang out with you when things are great and when things are shiny and glittery, but how many people are going to hang out with you in the depths of the things that you're going through, in all of your phases, in, you know, when you're going through life changes, when you're growing through things? Those are the people who count. Those are the people that matter. And so what I'm doing now is I'm still funneling the majority of my energy into myself, because that brings me the biggest ROI. That brings me the biggest return on my investment, is when I focus on myself, my growth, my business, my investments, my marriage, like my skills. That is what's actually bettering me. And then when it comes to the people I invest in, there are tiers. There literally are tiers. Like my mom, my sister, my husband, my dad, that's top tier. They're getting the majority of my energy and affection and effort and love. And below that is going to be you guys, my clients, my audience, my subscribers, the women that I work with, the students in my education business that I'm mentoring and that I'm teaching. So those people are second tier, because guess what? When I teach you guys and when I uplift you guys and when I empower you guys, I'm benefiting from that too. Like, I truly believe that we're both benefiting from this dynamic, and the comments that I receive from you guys, the messages that I receive, like, I have built just loving connections with you guys, and it makes me so happy hearing messages like love from Poland, love from London, and I'm like, oh my God, like, it's amazing that even with my relatively small platform, I'm able to reach you guys, and we're able to connect and just really watch each other glow up. So that is my second tier. And then my third tier is going to be those friendships in my life that have proved themselves to be worthy, that are reciprocating my energy, or even more, that are matching the love that I so freely used to give to everyone. And so that is tier 3. And I'm really happy with where I am now, because now I've truly narrowed down the people that I speak to, the people that I talk to, the people that I connect with, to a select few. And it is those people who make me feel good inside. It is those people who, after I see them, I feel energized. That is like one of the best ways to really figure out if a connection is beneficial for you, is, do you feel energized after talking with them and being with them, or do you feel drained? Do you feel sad? Do you feel negative? Do you feel like, when you have to go hang out with them? If that's how you're feeling, like, why are you doing it? Like, don't sacrifice yourself for the greater good. Like, you are going to be much better off just hanging out and being around people who lift you up and who make you feel good and who make your soul happy. And another thing that I'm still working on is to really, find my soul tribe, that those women who I can look to for advice, across the board. Because for a lot of my life, I've been the woman that everyone comes to for advice. And while I love being that, source of inspiration and motivation and knowledge, I also want to seek others. I also want to look to other women for advice. And thankfully, I've gotten there. One of my friends is huge in Pilates, and seeing her thrive and seeing her results has gotten me to start Pilates. So it's those simple things where that someone has impacted you in a positive way. It's have their habits benefited you or have they harmed you? Because a lot of the times you're hanging out with someone and their activities are drinking, wasting time, gossiping, and it's okay, you being around that energy is going to rub off. And so even if perhaps you have a friend who isn't more accomplished than you in the love setting or in the financial area. Perhaps she is further ahead than you in the fitness space. So that can still be an area of level up. And so that's what I've realized is I don't necessarily need a friend who's richer, who's been married longer, who travels more. I simply need friends who are more leveled up in other areas where I am not there yet. And then we can have a healthy exchange and we can both level each other up. Maybe I can level her up in the love department, in the investing department, in the reading department, and then maybe she can level me up in some other area in which I'm lacking. And so when people say you are the average of the 5 people that you spend the most time with, it is completely true. So choose wisely. The people that you are spending your time with, that you are talking to, that you are sharing your life with, dictate where you end up. Okay? And so choose people that are getting you closer to your dreams. Choose people that are allowing you to be more fulfilled. And that doesn't mean that you neglect the inner work, okay? Like I said, I'm still doing my inner work. I'm still learning and growing. But when I come together and hang out with someone, I want us to be co-creating. I want us to be up-leveling. And so I'm at that point now where if someone sends me a recording full of drama, I'm simply not responding. A lot of people get offended and they'll be like, oh my God, does she think she's better than me? Or why hasn't she responded to me? It's the simple fact that I have nothing to contribute to that. So if you want to message me something that's empowering, that's uplifting, if you want to seek my advice in something, that's okay. If you want to, just talk about positive things and growth, great, send it my way. But if you're sending me gossip, drama, or just simply sending me low vibe energy that I don't want to be around, expect a no response, because that's basically where I'm at. I know that this video may seem harsh, it may seem blunt, it may seem like, oh, I have my nose up, I think I'm better than people. It's not that. It's simply recognizing where I am today, where I want to be tomorrow, who should be in my circle that I want to go to the future with, that I want to elevate with, that I want to grow with. There was a long time where I was simply having people in my circle because I knew them a long time, because I went to school with them, because, we had the same major. I'm beyond that. I'm now only selecting the highest quality people of caliber because I recognize myself as being that way. And I have invested so much time, money, energy into my own development, into my own growth, into my own healing. So I don't want to be around people who haven't done the work because they are going to lower down my vibe. They're going to bring me back down to where I was. And that's not where I want to be. That's not why I invested all that time and all that energy doing the work to get to where I am today. And so I want to thank everyone who's been there with me, who's seen me flourish. Of course, my mom, I could go on and on about her, but she is just a shining light in my life. She is a cheerleader. She motivates me when I feel like I don't even have the motivation. She acknowledges my accomplishments. She just always pushes me to be better. She notices areas in which I am shying away from the work or not wanting to level up, and she'll be brutally honest with me. And not only that, but she's there for me on my lowest days just as much as she is on my high days. If I'm sick, she's there. If I need something, she's there. But then she's also there to celebrate with me, and so I absolutely love her and admire her for that. My husband, he is just amazing. You guys know how much I adore him, how much I honor him. I met him when I truly had not really found myself yet, to be completely honest. I was doing the work when I met him. I had been doing the work. I had so many ideas, but just witnessing my growth within the past 6 years now of knowing him, I truly do know that he was pivotal in my growth because he helped me heal so many areas. I have a whole video talking about how my partnership helped heal me, which I will link up above. Definitely recommend for you guys to check that out, because he healed me not just financially and with things like that, but emotionally. And so that is really important. And I want you guys to be so selective, not only in who you date and who you marry, because I know this channel is mainly about that, but who you spend your time with, your friends, your tribe, your soul sisters. Make sure that when you look around and you see who's at your table, you are grinning and you feel like just an utter sense of happiness and of peace, because anything else just simply is not worth it. Definitely give this video a thumbs up if it was helpful. Comment down below what you guys think about friendships and leveling up and just anything that you guys have learned along the way. I'd love to connect with you guys down there, and I will see you all very, very soon. Bye.